All right, I'll just restart. So, a very good evening to one and all present here. I hope you all are keeping well and safe. On behalf of the student coordination team of IEEE Bangalore section, I, Ambu Karthik, welcome you all for today's event, Researchers Retreat. So, to introduce the event, as Albert Einstein said, if you knew what you were doing, it would not be called research. Research is nothing but formalized curiosity. It is the same curiosity that we have as a child that pushes us to learn and discover more about the world. The main purpose of research are to inform action, gather evidence for theories, and contribute to developing knowledge in a field of study. A lot of research in the current world is done by students or young scientists like us in their respective fields. The curiosity and the knowledge of the new technologies make them work hard on further research. This being said, it is a problem that there may not be enough resources for a student to research on their interests, even with a fascinating idea. If I would like to look on it, I wouldn't have enough resources because I might not have the money or access to certain places that I need for my research. This session will cover upon the resources provided by IEEE that can help students with their research. We have two amazing speakers lined up for us this evening to talk about the same. So we have with us Dr. Dhanukumar Pattanashetty. To introduce the speaker, he has done his bachelor's degree in engineering and master's degree in library and information science. He has a PhD in library and information science from University of Mysore. He is the client's services manager at IEEE and works at the IEEE India Operations Center in Bangalore. Sir works with IEEE Explore Digital Library, subscribing institutions in Sri Lanka, South and Western regions in India. He handles IEEE Explore learning sessions on how IEEE Explore can benefit the technical community. He works with students or faculty or researchers in academic, government, and corporate sectors and advises effective data of use for their endeavors. Sir closely works with libraries in the institutions for internal IEEE promotions to include IEEE content within library web pages, internets, and other workflow applications. He has published 2 papers in journals and presented a paper at an international conference in Indonesia. It's such an honor to have you with us, sir. Let's get started with the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ambu. Could you confirm if my audio is clear?
Yes, sir, it's very clear.
Right. So let me share my screen.
Yes.
So there are some changes with the Cisco's WebEx meeting, so it takes some time to load. So please be patient.
Yes, sir.
So by the time it loads, thanks Ambu for the nice introduction. Thanks to the SCT team for inviting me um, today to the researchers retreat series. I'm actually excited to talk to all of you. Actually, I'm in the brink of a process wherein I'm planning a set of communications to all the institutions in Karnataka, that is the V2 affiliated institutions. There's a great news. The IEEE research will be available in the next, I believe, less than 10 days to all the students and faculty, thanks to the V2 VC and registrar and many more committee. We have a V2 consortium, which has agreed to have or make rather the IEEE research available to the students and faculty across Karnataka to through the V2 consortium. So with that, I would like to start. First of all, thanks to the SCT team for inviting me here today. So this session is a kind of a new type of a session which I started doing earlier. If some of you have attended my sessions, it was purely on the IEEE Explore digital library. So now fourth industrial revolution is already there. I thought, let me connect the fourth industrial revolution and how IEEE continues to enhance the research and contribute in your career. So a couple of topics. This session will, for my session, will be around like 40 minutes, including Q&A, probably 45 and 50, and then I will hand it to Mr. Changappa. IEEE research and the fourth industrial revolution. To begin with, I'll just quickly introduce the 4IR concepts and also the IEEE Explore digital library, how IEEE research can really help you in your career. For example, if you would like to publish a paper, if you would like to take help of the paper from for your projects, or if you'd like to planning, or probably look out for some new ideas wherein you can probably plan a startup or some of the new things, because IEEE Explore is the place which publishes more than 5 million documents. The research, the fully reviewed documents via the IEEE Explore digital library. So research comes first, especially for the students who are working, who are studying in the final year and also pre-final, because they're just starting with their mini projects. So at the end of the day, when you go for the placements, the biggest thing they ask you is that what is that project you have done in your uh, uh, graduate course. So choosing a right project and doing the due diligence always very important role. So how IEEE Explore can help you as a project ideas tool. This I'm going to something I'm taking an example of a project, and I will let you know how to approach the IEEE the project with help of the IEEE Explore. Quickly, there are three more small elements which I would like to introduce to all of you today. Open science initiatives from IEEE, IEEE's Learning Network, and the IEEE Author Center. So IEEE Author Center primarily for those who would like to publish a paper, who are looking for some tips and tricks in getting your paper published faster, and one-stop shop. So that is, we have a dedicated portal called as the IEEE Author Center. Then we'll jump into the Q&A. IEEE research and the fourth IR. So all of us know fourth IR is already here. If somebody has not, so let me quickly give an example. So the first industrial revolution used the water and the steam power to mechanize the production. And then we had the electric power, which created mass production. And that's why we could see so many changes in the way our elders have lived. And the third one basically used the electronics and the IT to automate the production. The fourth industrial revolution, which is at present where we are, represents a fundamental change in the way we live, work, and relate to one another. So we're actually standing in the a precipice of a great transformation. The fourth IR, that is what we call as fourth industrial revolution, is here. And being a technical association, IEEE is at the heart of it. Says all of you have seen the tagline of IEEE is advancing technology for humanity. And we can see a number of technological fields having major changes over the next few years that will affect all the disciplines, economies, and also industries. Some of the fields, if I have to name, say robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, biotechnology, IoT, 3D printing, many more. So there are experts who have predicted that there'll be number of changes with the fourth industrial revolution. Over 7 million jobs will be affected over the next few years in the world's largest economy. So now we can realize how important is for a student to really climb up quickly, and how IEEE continues to help all of you in this regard. If I have to tell you, by 2025, there'll be 26 to 30 billion devices connected to the internet thing. So I'm here in my hometown, that is Davangere. So my sister lives in Belgaum. So I can actually operate her the washing machine in her house right from here. So that is how the devices will be connected. There are robots and autonomous systems which will engage in the tasks way beyond manufacturing. We all have actually seen it during the pandemic outbreak. In China, I could actually see a lot of visuals wherein the cobots, the humanized robots, started delivering the medicine and the foods to the patient. Also, there are over 7 million jobs will be at risk, and there will be rapid changes in the fields such as robotics and 3D printing. Also, maybe you have siblings or cousins who are studying in the primary school. They may not be aware, 65% of the children may not be aware that what will be their future jobs. So that's why the fourth IR becomes a very important. So preparing for this one, so actually we should begin with the education today, and leaders from the business, government, we need to take an active role and understand the implications. Education will become more important as these revolutionary changes will require new skills and thorough understanding of the new technology system. There will also be a lot of changes in the employment landscape. Universities and also many engineering colleges, principal, V2 authorities, and all to make them realize how IEEE content is being very useful. And in the past, it used to be available, but there were some changes and there was a brief break. But now all the IEEE articles will be available through the V2 Consortium as soon as probably in the next few days. So if you take any of these areas, this was a study. This was an image from the Boston Consulting Group Inc. 2017, and which said actually they are the technologies which are fueling fourth IR. You take any of these technologies or any upcoming technologies, you come to IEEE Explore Digital Library, you will find tons of article on these areas. People are actually talking about 5G. There are 30,000 articles. People now are actually talking about 6G, 7G. Come to IEEE Explore, you'll find some of the latest research articles published by the technology professionals across the globe. IEEE Explore Digital Library contains 30% of the world's technical literature. We add close to 5,000 research articles every week. It's almost like 20,000 articles. There are many faculty, researchers, students who rely on the IEEE Explore because whenever they would like to do, as Ambu was mentioning, that access is very important. So all of you will soon have access, many more engineering colleges in Karnataka. You will have access to the IEEE's research. IEEE Explorers Library, just to introduce you quickly. This is the page. As soon as you log in, you will see your institution name on the top. Just wait for a few more days. We will be able to see it because we are working with the librarians in the institutions. And also now, because of the remote virtual learning environments, we're also looking at various options to make the database available to the all the students wherever they are. Maybe they're working from the maybe say house, maybe homes or many other places that will be available on the fingertips. So as soon as you log in, so this is the IEEE Explore Digital Libraries content. We publish um, 200 plus journals. We also co-sponsor 1,800 plus conference proceedings every year. The proceedings are also available in the IEEE Explore Digital Library. There are also standards, e-learning, and also ebooks content. So as soon as you are in IEEE Explore, you will see browse option, and this will list down all the different content. Just follow the link to find out more information. I was talking to the coordinator this morning, and I did understand that most of the attendees from today's session will be students. So when it comes to students, when I talk to students, the first thing is that I really want to make them clear what is a journal article, what is a conference article. A conference article is one which is which can present preliminary results or highlight a research take working on a 1 year project, and after 3-4 months you have some good data and good results which you can actually present it as a paper that actually qualifies for the conference. They're typically shorter than the journal articles and will have less details and the fewer references. Once the whole research is complete, then you can publish it as a journal article. So journal article is a fully developed presentation of your work and which will have the final findings. It is a comprehensive report on the original research investigation. So there are also clear conclusions made in the journal article. So journal articles are those which primarily people do refer there. From in India, we do have many conference proceedings, almost close to like 130 to 140 conferences are organized by IEEE in India with help of the IEEE volunteers. IEEE journals are cited 3 times, and also just to let you know, not every article submitted to IEEE gets accepted. There is a peer review process which we'll go through, and significantly around 85% articles get rejected, just to let you know. So we're trying to see how we can help all the authors in India and also many other countries nearby, especially the Asian countries, to help to have a better percentage of the acceptance. On the other hand, IEEE conferences, um, we co-sponsor 1,800 conferences across the globe. In India, around 130. And again, their conferences not only on very strict like electronic engineering, but also computer science, and also many other related fields. Just to let you know why IEEE plays a very important role in any technical professional's career, because IEEE provides the highly cited. So all the IEEE articles are highly cited. Our journals are highly cited. There is journal citation reports, Clarivate Analytics, uh, uh, which does a study looking at how well the articles in a subject field have been referred. When you look at the most of the articles are coming from the IEEE journal, so it increases productivity. It will actually save you time by not reinventing the wheel. When you take up a project, when you'd like to carry out, you can actually rely on the IEEE Explore digital library, saying that whether this research has been taken up by any other person or not in the past. So that is the power of the IEEE Explore digital library. Also, IEEE helps you keep up to date, because we publish like 5,000 documents every week, and we can look at, okay, is there a new article? Is there something interesting in your area of interest? Now IEEE provides an option for you to set a notification as well. This is interesting because these are the technologies which are actually fueling the IEEE fourth IR. You take Internet of Things, uh, um, being talked about big, you take big data, you take autonomous robots. I do see some of the students starting a lot of projects on the autonomous robots. They carry out some projects. I have seen some also coming out with their own startups in the autonomous robot sector. We have simulation, we have cloud computing, etc. And if you see the number there, these numbers designate the number of documents in the IEEE Explore digital library. You just take cybersecurity, there are 35,000 documents. So tomorrow, if you'd like to carry out a research on cybersecurity, you will find more than 35,000 documents for it. So 35,000 is a huge number. IEEE has a lot of options for you to refine based on your requirements. Important use of the fourth IR technology in the COVID pandemic. So say, for example, the role of the IoT, drones, robots, AI, blockchain, and 5G in managing the impact. So this is an article published in the IEEE Access last year. So I've taken an example, and also I will try and um, help you to understand how much content is available in the IEEE Explore library. You take this one, the telemedicine. Uh, there are close to like in this area, telemedicine, we have like more than 55,100 documents. If you strictly look at telemedicine, there are close to 8,400 documents. You take rapid doctor, healthcare, medical diagnosis, digital consultation, telemedicine. There are all the various fourth era technologies that are actually uh, there are various fourth era technologies which are enabling all these different technologies. And on the right hand side, if you see, these are the journals which carry these number of articles. You take medical imaging has more than 1,330 articles. So if somebody is working on this area, especially the biomedical or say bioinstrumentation, etc. So there are some dedicated journals for all of you here. So look it up in the IEEE Explore digital library. We also have um, Contract tracing, everybody got to know, even my parents got to know, my grandmother got to know during the pandemic outbreak, the contract tracing, how the contract tracing applications there are COVID-19. uh, so if you look at up this around, we have around 200 articles in this research area. And on the right hand side, I've tried coming out with some nice articles in the IEEE Explore, say people count, contact tracing apps and public health. There is contact tracing incentive for COVID pandemic. Somebody has written article. There are somebody has written article on COVID contact tracing challenges and the future direction. So you can look at all the various areas here. Also, there are drones. Who does not know drones nowadays? So people are actually looking at when drones will be realistically available in every part of India. But if you look at IEEE Explore itself, there are tons of articles on this area. So here's some of the examples. So I was looking at this morning. So somebody has written an article in last year. What is the role of IT for successful responses to the COVID-19 pandemic? Somebody has actually written an article recently, just recently this year, formally identifying COVID patients for providing medical services using drones. So you can look at how people are actually coming out with some new ideas, and when they have some good data which they could actually share with the public, they publish it through the IEEE Explore digital library. We can also look at robots. So with the fourth industrial revolution, the prevalence of the robots will be the most notable changes. So robots are already utilized in manufacturing facilities around the world, but the field of robotic itself is not limited to the manufacturing. So IEEE research actually explores how robotics can be applied in new and different ways. There are low-cost robots also available. You can also see that how they're being used in grocery shopping. Autonomous robots can also inspect the structural health of nuclear plants and also the underground mines. There are also concept of cobots wherein there is a human intervened robots also is now available. So altogether in the IEEE Explore Digital Library, in the area of robots, there are close to 150,000 research articles in the IEEE Explore Digital Library. And if I have to take some examples with related to COVID-19 pandemic in India, in Kerala, there was a new startup called Asimo Robotics, which has developed a three-wheeled robot that can be utilized to assist the patients residing in the isolation ward. So this robot was capable of doing a lot of tasks like serving food to the patients, serving medicines, etc. We also have a Danish robotics company called as UVD Robots, which has developed multiple disinfection robots to be delivered in the hospitals around the world. So this actually utilizes the UV light also in the DNA concept during the whole process. We also have Carnegie Mellon University. There is a leading robotic expert who actually says that with help of robots with a potential to execute tasks like obtaining nasal samples for testing, rendering support isolated patients can also be developed soon. And if you look at the whole research, so I was talking to you about journals. On the left hand side, I have the list of the journals here, the robotics and automation letters, IEEE access, etc., transaction, nanobioscience, and these actually carry more number of articles. So you can see here, IEEE has dedicated journals on these areas. There are also magazines. On the right hand side, we have the conferences as well. And you can see on the right hand side, we have conferences on intelligent control and automation. There is robotics and automation, ICRA, which has a lot of contributions also year on year. So they are the conferences which you should not be missing. So if there are journals, I think I would request all of you to bookmark this. And if you are planning to attend a conference, come to IEEE and look at which are the upcoming conferences in your area. So we have autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars have been in the news for the last few years. These cars actually have the ability to sense the things around them and drive with minimal human input. So the new autonomous vehicles will definitely disrupt the transportation around the globe. There are a lot of tests being worked out in the whole country. And here we have there is a company called as White Reno Auto Company in Beijing, headquarters in Beijing. Uh, with help of Unido's investment technology promotion, it dispatched autonomous delivery vehicles from Beijing to the Gyeongnam field hospital in the Hubei province. So the use of AVs not only lessened the workload on the overburdened hospital staff, but also it helped in limiting the risk of the cross infection. Overall, in the area of autonomous vehicles, there are close to 50,000 research articles in the IEEE Explore disk library. So on the left hand side, you see the list of journals in IEEE. So IEEE Access is the open access journal, open access in the sense this is a fully, I would say, free journal. All the articles published here will be free. So there are more than 1,317 free articles on the autonomous vehicles with help of IEEE Access, which you can access. And also there are journals which are dedicated on this area, especially the autonomous vehicles. You take intelligent transportation system. So if you'd like to develop something, if you're interested in some of the area, I would urge all of you to probably bookmark at least some of the journals here which speak about the robotics and autonomous vehicles here. On the right hand side, the list of journals, sorry, the conferences, we have the intelligent transportation system conference, we had the unmanned aircraft system, we had robotics and automation um, conference, which has been happening and that carries a lot of articles as well. 5G, okay, people do talk about 5G. There are also a lot of things which actually speaking about. And also with respect to the IEEE Explore itself, there are more than 30,000 research articles in the IEEE Explore. So if you would like to learn new on, so if you're newbie, probably if you have minimal information on 5G and would like to read some of the magazine articles, come to the IEEE Explore digital library. Um, Also, we have many journals which are which speaks about this area. So we have Communication Magazine, which has like 555 documents. On the right hand side, we have the conferences, like the 5G World Forum. So my co-speaker today, Chingappa, has published an article on the 5G World Forum recently. And also there are a lot of people who contribute. There is Globecom, there is uh, also UCAP, there is VTC 2021, there is ICC. There are many conferences which publish a lot of articles in the area of the 5G. We also have artificial intelligence. I don't have to speak much. I believe all of you are aware of this, but I'd like to tell you that a whopping 270,000 articles are available in the IEEE Explore digital library only on the artificial intelligence. And we do have some journals which publish a lot on these areas. IEEE transactions on pattern analysis. You take image processing, neural networks, etc. On the right hand side, we have the access, pattern analysis, etc. So the applications of the AI for COVID-19 pandemic impact management. So in this article, the authors has spoken a lot, but on the other hand, I just wanted to let you know that IEEE continues to publish um, many articles on these areas. So IEEE Explore, the research available in the IEEE Explore research becomes much more important. Blockchain is one of the other area which contains many. So when you just search for blockchain, um, there are like close to 10,000 articles. So you can refine by standards, journals, etc. You also have an option to refine based on your requirements. So you can look at the latest articles by looking at the newest first. You can look at the relevant articles as soon as you go in. So IEEE provides you many resorting options so that those articles which are probably would be of your interest will be uh, taken to the top. And also on the left hand side, we provide you many more refining options. So you can look at who is the famous author here, which journal carries more number of articles. So tomorrow you have an article on blockchain you would like to publish in a journal, probably you can visit this page and look at publication title as well. So continue to look for IEEE. IEEE Explore project ideas tool. Many students, I believe, will be excited to know how IEEE can really help you during your project process. Like when you try, especially uh, when you would like to choose a particular project. Say, for example, I would like to work on a project on improving home automation system using the IoT. So using the Internet of Things. So this actually happened last year. That's how I was talking to a student, and early 2020, when he and his sister and also parents were not in home, they were in college and parents at the workplace. Suddenly there was a water leakage, and the veranda space actually was filled with water when as soon as they came back. And then he started looking at, is there a way to prevent it? And then I was talking to him, and I asked, probably we were looking at the IEEE Exploratory library, and we found out a lot of articles. So we're looking at there are a lot of home automation systems now available using the IoT. Okay, so he was actually excited to work on something which will improve the existing home automation system. So that was his project. So what next? That was, we tried solving with help of the IEEE Exploratory library. Okay, where do I start? Start with the IEEE Explore digital library, which provides you more than 5 million documents. Soon you will see your institution name on the top, and then okay, you'll see a lot of results, but how to narrow it based on your needs is this place. You can see here on the left hand side, you can narrow, you can type something, you can look by publication title, you can look by and also you can resort the results. You can look by journals, magazines, etc. Early access articles, probably a new concept or new terminology to most of you today. Uh, Early access are those articles which are accepted for publication. So, say for example, Ambu sends an article to IEEE this month, that is the month of August. After 2 months, in the month of October, the IEEE journal tells that his article is accepted in the journal, okay, in the month of October. But to get it published as a issue, probably as a journal issue, probably will take another 2 to 3 months. So his article will be in queue to get it published in the upcoming issue, because every journal has its own frequency. Then it will be published as part of the early access article. So there are 1,782 articles on the Internet of Things. Likewise, you can also, how can I improve the relevance of my results? Please click on the advanced search here. So you can uh, search in any of these areas. You can use Boolean operators, I would say here, because when I search for Internet of Things and home automation, I literally got like 1,500 articles. That when I use the codes. But when I went into the advanced search, I can actually use various options here. Also, if you're pressed for time, because now what happens is, if you have like 100 or say 200 articles, going to each and every PDF may take you some time. You have to download them, you have to read them. You don't have to do that. But if you'd like to quickly scan an article, just find out, just in the result set, I'll just show you. In the result set, you should have this option called HTML. Means this article is also available in the HTML format. You can single page read single page itself. You'll be able to go through each and every aspects of the article: introduction, smart home automation, conclusion, etc. Once you click on it, that will automatically take you to that particular section of the article. Then quickly you'll be able to realize whether this article is helpful or not. Okay, what was our objective when we started this? We wanted to find out the project ideas from the existing research. I could actually borrow some of the last parts, that is conclusion part, around the last page of the article. Most of the authors, they publish this. When they write an article, they come across many areas which are unexplored areas. So these unexplored areas, they publish it as a new project or say future areas of research, or they themselves think that, okay, may next year come up, they will take this as part of the research or say project, etc. So you can see here, there are a lot of work here. So please do look at the latest articles. Obviously requires a lot of reading. You need to consult the review of literature part, and mostly conclusion has this. So review of literature will give you a review of what has been happened in the past with respect to this area of interest. So likewise, some more examples to all of you. So look out for the future scope. The future scope or future possible research direction, etc. In future, these key terms will let you know that these are the areas. So you need to reconfirm whether somebody has worked on it. If so, nobody has worked on it, they are up for grabs to all of you, and you can probably come out with a project here. Yes, with your own membership IEEE account, you can do more. On the top, as soon as you log in, you will find the institution name here, and here is a place. Sorry, for if you are not an IEEE member, here is a place for you to create an account. If you're an IEEE member, click on personal sign in, provide your IEEE email ID and password, and then sign in. So you have a personal space within the IEEE Explore digital library. Uh, if you'd like to set an alert on Internet of Things, that is your area of interest. If you'd like to receive new article alerts, so when there are new articles on Internet of Things, you will receive an email alert from IEEE. Set search alert, type the name to give a name to the search alert, and then hit save. Next time you'll receive an email alert from IEEE. Also, recently IEEE launched a new feature called as the My Research Project. So as soon as you see an article, the article abstract page, introduction, etc., you will see a folder, open folder option. Click on it, and if you'd like to preserve this or say park this article for your future ones and park it as part of a project folder, that option is being made available from IEEE now. So you can create up to 15 projects with 1,000 articles each to organize your research. So if you're working on say 3 different projects, you can start parking the articles of interest to these research projects. So click on this and click on My Research Project. As soon as you do it, you will see different projects which you have created. If you're not created one, here is an option to create a new project. So I have a project name called as IoT application in home. I don't have time now because my examinations are going on. My examinations is around the corner. I don't have time now. I can park it as part of my research project and then save it. At any point in time, you can access all of your research projects, my settings, research projects, and then hit new project here if you'd like to create a new one and look at how many documents, what are the documents, what are the research projects I have already saved, and which are the documents under each of the project here. So this is a nice way to organize all of your research data. Okay, time to switch to the next topic. But before that, I would like to tell you that if you'd like to start with IEEE magazines. Okay, so IEEE magazines are those which are like central communication of for the sponsoring societies. All the societies, many of our societies do sponsor magazines. It will contain like sometimes they feature technical articles, sometimes they feature editorial columns. There are some news related to upcoming conferences and also communications from the IEEE society latest, that is our IEEE volunteers. If you ask me, the Spectrum is the best thing for all the students to start with. Being an IEEE member, whether institution has IEEE access or not, but you have access. So being an IEEE member student or a professional member, you have access to a couple of couple of magazine, and one of the magazine is IEEE Spectrum. One of them, another is Proceedings of the IEEE. I think you need to look at, and also there is potentials, IEEE potential also there. Look at sometimes once you get access to the IEEE Explore in a few days time, you can look at many of our magazines. So IEEE Spectrum, potentials, and few more magazines will be filled. IEEE Open Science initiatives from IEEE. IEEE continues to come out with new ways to communicate the research. IEEE Open Access is one. There are 26 open access journals as of now. Codes, we encourage all the authors to publish their codes, and these codes are available to all of you, the readers. We also have Tech Archive. So as you know that researcher now want to establish a prior art, means they need to get credit for their discoveries. So now this is a place wherein you will be able to access articles prior to the peer review process, the first draft of the article. We do have data sets wherein the data port is the platform which contains huge data sets, sometimes up to 2 terabytes, and this will actually enable the research data sharing. We also have the IEEE, and again these enhancements improve the extent IEEE can help researchers communicate the value of the researchers and also the availability. I got a small note here. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Yeah, madam is asking about Sujata madam, coordinator of this workshop, is asking, can I elaborate bit on the V2 consortium? Yeah, V2 consortium is, I would say, initiative of the VTU to provide access to the research, scientific and technical research to all the students and the faculty. So VTU consortium primarily what you call supported the coordinated by the VTU library in Belgavi. So they make the research access available to all the institutions, affiliated institutions in Karnataka under the VTU. So IEEE was not part of the this one recently, but now in the next few days, IEEE research articles will also be available. There are many resources they provide. Sometimes they provide access to the journals, conferences, say anti-plagiarism softwares, and many more. And IEEE will also be one of them soon. So we'll all have access to the IEEE digital library. Okay, one more question I received. Thank you. How can I get access to IEEE? Just wait for a few more days. Your library will communicate to you, your library, or maybe a professor may communicate to you. I will also get a list of all the attendees today, and I will also communicate to all the attendees that how to access the IEEE papers if they are within the institutes or sometimes even outside the institutions as well. Here's the place when you are in the IEEE Explore digital library. There are codes which are associated with the article. Sometimes there are data sets, media, video, etc. You can actually look at some of the icons here. This means media, that is an animation file or a audio file or a video file, even maybe a slide deck, which is part of this here. IEEE Learning Network, again, this is a new e-learning network from the e-learning library. This is actually revamped from the educational department in the IEEE, wherein we try and look at which are the courses which need some of the information, some of the advancements. There are almost like 500 courses available within the IEEE e-learning network. So these courses are being developed by the leading experts, and they can be accessed anywhere. So they actually support and supplement the career development curriculum as well. So there are some of the areas where we have the courses. We also have launched a new course called as English for technical professionals. So if you'd like to fine tune, maybe there are few faculty here, if you would like your students to fine tune the English, there is a new course from IEEE called as English for technical professionals. In short, we call it as E4TP, which has like 18 hours of online instruction. There are assessments, exercise, final test, and also some of the scenarios also. So this is spread into 4 modules called reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills as well. So this is to help the working knowledge of the English techniques. There are some scenarios which will also help you in various areas. IEEE Author Center, the last one before I head into the Q&A. This is one-stop shop for all the uh, uh, the faculty, students, technical professional, if they would like to communicate the research through the IEEE journals or conferences, and they would like to look at some of the tools available, IEEE Author Center is the one of them. So if you'd like to find the right periodical, so sometimes you have the article, but you would like to look at which is the best journal for my uh, article, then your IEEE publication recommender. And also if you'd like to speed up the article submission process, we have IEEE LaTeX Analyzer. We also help you verify the reference list. You can look at template selector, which journal, if you'd like to look at the template of a journal, you can look at that. And also if you have, if you need help in making a compatible IEEE Explore compatible PDF, you have PDF checker as well. There are many, what you call, videos available on the IEEE Author Center. Please do look at them. I'll be sharing this slide deck with the organizers so that all of you have it. So please do look at the short tutorials on various topics, which will actually enhance you to get your articles published. Authors newsletter. This is, I would say, bi-monthly newsletter, which will talk about some new changes in the publishing industry and some terminologies, or help you to get your papers published, or there'll be some or the other information will be available in this newsletter. So also remote, I will talk about this probably later, but briefly, IEEE is well equipped to be made available remotely to any of the users. So you are anywhere. If you have an internet connection, just ensure that you have access to the IEEE Explore. So to that extent, IEEE has come out with some of the initiatives which will help you. Google Scholar Casa is there. So the library will be giving you more information on this as well. In conclusion, the fourth IR is bringing significant changes. So please be prepared. Please do refer articles, enhance your knowledge. And IEEE publications also constantly evolving with this technology. We come out with new enhancements, new journals as well, new articles as well. So the articles, these keep you up to date and help you, the companies innovate and also help you update yourself. To see what the future holds, please do access the IEEE Exploration Library with help of the IEEE, the site here, IEEE.org/IEEE Explore. So IEEE Explore will soon be available via the V2 Consortium. You all will receive a notification from me once it is available. So that takes me to the end of the presentation. Let me see if there is any more question. Yeah, there are a few questions. Okay, there is one question from a student. Like he's asking, subscription is compulsory for accessing IEEE papers? Yes. Being a member, you do get access to some of our magazines, few of our magazines, say Spectrum, Potentials, and around 200 classic ebooks, but not beyond that. So your institution should have a subscription. Just check with your library or faculty whether your institution has access. But yeah, you being a part of VTO soon, you will be available. Okay, thank you. How do I access IEEE journal papers for open access? Yeah, simple. Let me take all of you live. One moment. I request another 5 minutes. Like maybe Changappa, please wait for 5 more minutes before I hand it over to you.
No, no worries, Dr. Danu.
Oh,
It's even a learning for me as well.
oh, great. So pleasure this side. Okay, I'm here at the IEEE Explore digital library. The question was, can I access free articles, okay, the open access articles in the IEEE journals? Yes. The first step I would do is click on um, the number here, that is 5.3 million documents, the research documents. Click on it and it will take you to the list of all the articles. So here in the left hand side, there's an option. If you'd like to access only the open access, click open access only. So this will give you through all the articles which are available freely, primarily from the journals and magazines. We do have some conferences also, some one standards available free. But one thing is very important to note: this on the right hand side, you just remember this. Wherever you find this icon, the open icon means this is either open access or available with help of your subscription. On the top, you will be able to see your institution name. So if you are accessing within the campus, you should see your institution name on the top. And soon, with help of V2 Consortium, all of the institution will have access. So you should see this open icon. I mean, this is an open access article. Close to 1 lakh articles are now available from our IEEE freely. You can look at journals, say magazines, early access also. The future articles also is available. So you can just hit apply and all those articles will be available to you. I hope that answers your question. Okay, got one more question. What is the IEEE Author Center? Yeah, IEEE Author Center is here. IEEEauthorcenter.ieee.org. This is the portal, one-stop shop for all of your publishing queries. If you'd like to, if you're a new author, what are the tools available to all of you in terms of peer review process? If you'd like to know what's the peer review process, author tools is here. So various author tools. If you'd like to write a paper and you'd like to look at the templates, you need to choose the right journal. And then if you'd like to find the right publication, okay. So you're working on say 5G and would like to see which is the best journal for me to publish my article in the area of 5G. 5G, click on get recommendation and this will give you all the data here. Communication standards, probably the best one, which carries more number of articles on 5G, communication magazine, etc. So if you click on it, you will have the data here. IEEE network, impact factor is 10.693, huge one, by the way. And again, the aims and scope of journals is available here. Any more questions? If there are no questions, I would like to hand it back to the organizers. Thank you so much for all of your patience and please reach out to me. In case you would like to organize a similar session for your institution. For our IEEE student branch, I'll be happy to talk to the students. I also speak about benefits to the student as from a research perspective. There are many things which I can speak. So let me know if you would like me to talk mainly on the IEEE Explore front because I'm the IEEE Explore person in the
I'm sorry.
IEEE. Yeah, sorry. Please proceed. I'm done and thanks to everybody today.
Thank you very much, Danu sir. It was really, really informative, and I'm pretty sure we learned a lot from it. We had a lot of takeaway about research, and I think we can proceed to Changappa sir. So introducing Changappa sir, Mr. Changappa MR. He is a co-chair of MDC and SAC industry. He's a member of PAC Industry Committee and ECIM. Changappa sir has been associated with Hewlett Packard, that is HP, for the past decade. He started his career at Hewlett Packard, Bangalore as an intern, and from an early career in software testing and performance analysis. His current focus areas have moved him into defining, building, and delivering NFV-based telco solutions, bringing to the technologies that form building blocks, integrating cloud-native applications. Being a senior member at IEEE, he is also associated with CCICI, that is Cloud Computing Innovation Council since 2012, and is actively contributing to defining cloud interoperability and portability for India ecosystem in association with TSDSI SG2. So TSDSI stands for Telecommunication Standard Development Society. He has been IEEE events, including Open Infrastructure Summit, Shanghai 2019 for a talk on cloud interoperability and open standards for digital India. We are very excited to have you over, sir. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ambu, for that introduction. And well, so it is really a challenge. See, after Dr. Danu speaking, to in fact share the insights on IEEE Explore and the benefits and the tools. So it would be like preaching to the choir, and most of the things that he has covered already. However, what I would be doing is, yeah, like when we wanted to have this researchers retreat, myself and Sujata ma'am were discussing, and uh, the rationale behind that was to encourage more students who are pursuing their UG to make them at least understand what is the research, and so extensively Dr. Danu has covered the fourth industrial revolution and how the research can be done on various latest and greatest of the technologies under fourth industrial revolution. But going there, so we also felt the need to connect the dots, to understand what and why of a research, and then probably with the data and the collaterals that Dr. Danu shared on IEEE Explore and various other IEEE platforms. So probably the students can have a few takeaways, and probably that would help them to pursue their career and research. And again, going forward, so this is what, so this would be very crisp, considering the fact that Dr. Danu has covered length and breadth of the IEEE benefits and tools that it offers as of today for IEEE members. So I would be keeping it very brief. However, I want to share some things with respect to the research methodology with our young and budding researchers, and also with the students who are currently pursuing their engineering, and probably with this context, they would be able to incline to do more research. And again, some of the concepts that we discuss here or the next few minutes, right? So it need not be a framework or a methodology applied only to a research. But in fact, students can take the process and the methodology and the framework that we discuss and apply it to the project they are doing it in the UG level. So probably that can be a basis to continue their research on the projects that they are doing. And then we will try to see why I am telling that and how the students can correlate with these learnings, and then can build a strong foundation on pursuing the career on research. Okay, so again, moving forward, for any topic, right? So we need to have the context setting done right. So, and again, like context is the key, and from that comes the understanding of every other thing that encompasses that particular domain, right? So to start with, we need to understand here the meaning of the research, and also what constitutes something called as the research methodology. Over the years, we have the greatest folks who have who have defined what exactly would be a research is. However, the term research is related to seek out information and knowledge on a particular topic or a subject. And in other words, we can visualize a research as an art of a systematic investigation, and as the famous quote goes, that necessity is the mother of all inventions. And a person who is engaged in this scientific investigation can be termed as a researcher. So the research is a pedagogic action. The term should be used in a technical sense, and According to Clifford Woody, research comprises defining and redefining problems. Probably even it can involve formulating hypotheses and suggested solutions, collecting, organizing, and evaluating data, and making deductions and reaching a conclusion. And of course, as a last mile, carefully testing the conclusions to determine whether they fit the formulating hypothesis with from where one started the research. So research methods include all the techniques and methods which have been taken for conducting a research, whereas research methodology is the approach in which research troubles are solved thoroughly, right? So it is a science of studying how the research is conducted systematically, and in this field, the researcher explains himself with different steps generally taken to study a research problem. Hence, the scientific approach which is adopted for conducting a research is called a research methodology in itself. So moving forward, yeah, so this we have covered. Okay, let us try to understand the objectives of research, right? So the major aim of any type of research is to find out the reality and the facts which is unknown and which has not been exposed. And although each research activity has its own particular reason, the objectives of the research can be grouped into following categories that we would be seeing in this slide. To achieve skillfulness with the trend or to get novel options into it, research with this objective can be termed as a exploratory or a formulative research. And to find the characteristics of a particular character, condition, or grouping, the research coming under this basket can be termed as a descriptive research. And again, so moving forward, to establish the relationship with something uh, which occur or with which it is related with something else. So such type of research, we call it as a diagnostic research. And to test a hypothesis or a reasonable relation between two different variables, we simply term that as hypothesis testing research. So with this objectives and understanding the objectives of research, let us now try to understand the basic types of research which uh, we can try to consume within when we talk about a research methodology, right? So in this, the first one would be a descriptive or analytical research, and let us try to understand a bit of what these research would be. So descriptive research consists of survey and fact-finding investigation of different kinds. And the main purpose of descriptive research is the explanation of set of circumstances as it is present as such. And the term ex post facto research has been used to elaborate this type of research in different areas or subjects of the research. The main feature of this descriptive method is that the scientist or the researchers does not have a direct control over the variables, and he can only report what is happening or what has happened, right? So for examples, when we try to figure out why some people of a particular region would suffer from a lung cancer as compared to a different region of the world, and the investigation would have been revealed that persons who are in fact prone to some various XYZ conditions would have been prone to the lung cancers, and the researchers could hypothesize the reason that considering 1, 2, 3 factors would be causing the lung cancer. And the techniques used in descriptive research can be all kinds like survey methods, comparative and correlation methods. And on the other hand, when we talk about analytical research, the researchers could be uh, use the facts and information data that is already available and analyze these resources to make the hypothesis evaluation material. So that is what is classified as a descriptive versus analytical research. So moving forward, we have the concept of applied and fundamental research. When we talk about applied research, it refers to finding a solution for a specific practical problem faced by any individuals or industrial or business organization. For example, how to abolish hate crimes, what would be the ways market product, and what is causing increase in poverty, and so on and so forth. Whereas when we talk about fundamental research, it is mainly concerned with overview of formulation theory, that is pure basic type of the research. For example, investigating, looking for whether the stress level influences and how often the students engage in academic malpractices, or probably how the consumption of the caffeine would impact the brain. And thus the main aim of the applied research is to find out a solution for some critical problem, whereas the basic research in handling towards finding that information that has a wide sense of applications to already existing organized body of a scientific knowledge. So next we have quantitative and qualitative research, and in natural sciences, social science, quantitative research is based on aspect of quantity or extent. It is related to object that can be expressed in terms of quantity, or something that can be counted, and such type of research involve systematic experimental analysis of observable phenomenon via statistical, mathematical, or computational techniques in numerical form, such as statistics, percentages, and so on. Whereas on the contrary, qualitative research is concerned with qualitative phenomenon that is relating to the quality or the variety. Such type of research is typically descriptive and harder to analyze than quantitative data. So qualitative research involves looking in depth at non-numerical data, and it is more naturalistic, and also, or probably we can consider it as anthropological, right? Moving ahead, like we also have this category of conceptual and empirical research, where conceptual research is related to some abstract ideas or theory, and it focuses on the concepts and the theory that explain the concerned theory being studied. It generally is used by people are more into logic or philosopher, or someone who tries to develop new concepts or to again understanding the existing ones. On the other hand, when we talk about empirical research, relies on experience or observation alone, and it is the way of gaining the knowledge by the means of which direct or indirect observation or experience can be considered. We can also refer it as an experimental type of research. And in such research, it is necessary to get the facts and data, firstly their source, and then actively engaged doing certain things to simulate the production of the desired information. So so at a high level, when we talk about types of research, these are some of the most followed types of the research that usually the researchers would be into. And also we have a few other types of research. It can be one-time research where the research is confined to a single period of time. When we talk about research carried over several period of times, it would be bracketed under longitudinal research. So sometimes the diagnostic research is also called as clinical research, which aims in identifying the causes and the problem frequency with which it occurs and the possible solutions for it. We also have something called as exploratory research. It is the preliminary study of an unfamiliar problem about which the researchers has very little knowledge or no knowledge. And the main aim of this research would be to gain familiarity with the problem, to generate new ideas, or to make a precise formulation of the problem statement itself. And hence, this is also known as formulative research, right? So we also have on the same lines experimental research and historical research as well. So when we talk about historical research, it is the study of the past records and other information and the sources with a view to find the origin and development of a phenomenon, or to discover the trends in the past in order to understand how they correlate with the present, or even to anticipate the future. So moving ahead, I would like to emphasize on the research process. Again, as I was sharing initially, the process that we or the methodology that we discuss here on this particular slide need not be very strictly applied to a research methodology, quote unquote, but also the students can make use of this framework and also try to see if they can fit in their academic projects within this framework, and then have this phased approach where it also would give them a holistic idea of doing a research, and also can be a learning a foundation for pursuing their research career, right? So research process consists of sequence of actions or steps that are necessary to effectively carry out research and desired propagation of these steps that we would be seeing in a while. It is recommended that these steps should be followed in a strictly prescribed sequence. Otherwise, the researcher may face a problem in completing the research. And in the research process, each step is scientific, and they are separate and distinct from each other. However, let us see the following order, which we would be seeing in a while, relating to the various steps, provides a useful procedural instructions regarding the research process. The first in this sequence would be to identify a research problem. And then from there, we would be carrying out a broad literature survey. And then from with the knowledge and the information that we gain from the broad literature survey, we would be formulating the hypothesis. And then like we would be going over to a research and a sample design phase where we would be preparing a research design and also determine the sample design. And once we have this, we would start collecting the data, and then like the next step would be data analysis and hypothesis testing. And then the next step in the process would be generalization of this data analysis and the hypothesis, and then interpreting this in the form of the report, right? So again, so as a researcher, the one thing, or rather the key takeaway from this slide and how this correlates with the knowledge that Dr. Danu shared in the first session, I would like to focus mainly on the broad literature survey here. Pretty much this, the literature survey itself would be even like carried out across various phases. It is not that once we identify a problem and have a problem statement and we do a literature review, it would be end of that. So again, so when we are, for example, when we are in the research design and the sample design phase, obviously there would be considerable amounts of months that we would have arrived to do this. And again, we need to go back to the literature survey and to see that what are the latest and current trends that are happening in that specific domain. So that is why the literature survey here plays a important role in this research process. So typically after identification of the research problem, the researchers must study all the available literature to get himself familiar with the selected problem. And he may review two types of literature. First, that is conceptual literature, which is related to the concepts, theories in that specific domain where one has identified the problem. And the second is the empirical literature, which consists of previous studies similar to the proposed research problem, right? So the researchers should undertake a vast literature survey concerned with the problem statement one has defined. And for this purpose, the abstracting and indexing journals are published or unpublished bibliographies are the first place where the researchers can get the first-hand information or the knowledge. Right. Added to that, academic journals, conference proceedings, government reports, books, and so on may be maybe hit depending on the nature of the problem that one has defined. And after this, the researcher revised the problem statement into analytical or operational terms. That would mean that to put the problem in as specific terms as possible. And this assignment of formulating or defining a research problem would become very important step in the entire research process. And once the problem statement is formulated, a synopsis of it should be written down. So going back and taking the cue from the length and breadth of the knowledge which Dr. Danu has shared in his first slide, first session. So definitely, I think the students can correlate between how the IEEE, in fact, can be beneficial for someone who is doing a research in doing this literature survey, and then how it also helps in filtering down the research problem and arriving at a research statement on which one has to do the research. And again, if we just abstract this process, right? So I would also suggest the students to apply a similar process while they are doing UG projects, rather than taking your seniors project and doing some enhancements to this to that, and then presenting it. Probably the best way to do this is apply this process itself and try to identify a research problem. Go back to your IEEE resources in your specific institution and colleges, and then see how you can come up with your project. So this would lay the foundation also to get more insights into your research career, right? So moving ahead, again, so Dr. Danu has covered the length and breadth of these things, and in fact, this was the last slide which I had. So again, as he has covered most of the things, I would not be repeating the information here. So he has covered on IEEE journals and conferences, and the emphasis on electronic library, the IEEE educational resources in terms of e-library. And when we talk about the discovery and the open science, we have this Code Ocean, IEEE data port, and also Tech Archive, which Dr. Danu has in fact explained in detail, and how can one access that. And definitely, when we are talking about the IEEE benefits, right? How we can leave aside the IEEE Explore in itself, right? So, and as most of the students and the faculties know here, that it provides the web access to more than around 5 million full text documents of some of the world's most highly cited publications in across various domains. We can say that. And definitely, I think that probably with this details and information what I shared on research methodology, it would be appreciated that if the students can take some of the key benefits of how to understand what and why of a research and research methodology, and then with the IEEE resources, explore further in doing the research. I think that would be a great help for the research community. So with this, I would give it back to Ambu. And again, if there are any questions, or if we want to deep dive into the research methodology itself and want to go over the various phases of what is involved in the research process, we can also have that as a continued series sometime later. and we can open up to the students who want to know more on research and research methodology. With that, I give it back to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was an excellent session by you. Uh, audience, if you have any questions, you can ask Chengappa sir and Dhanukumar sir. I'll give a minute. If required, you can unmute and ask the same things. All right. There are no questions. Thank you, Dhanukumar sir and Chengappa sir, for sparing your time for today's session and patiently answering all the questions. By the attendance with a lot of interesting insight. As a token of gratitude, we have a little something for you. Let me just share something. Right. Like for coming to our uh, hello, I'm audible.
Yeah, we can hear you,
All right.
Ambu. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dhanukumar sir, for coming here and giving us your valuable insights. And
To team.
thank you. Yeah. I'm sorry. Just share the same file. And thank you very much, Engappa sir. Your presentation was really excellent, and we learned a lot from you as well. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Ambu.
Sorry. All right. Feedback will be sent by mail itself. And I thank one and all for joining us today and making the session an eventful one. I hope all of you enjoyed it and took away some valuable information from it. Let's continue to have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Bye, guys.
Thank you all.